So, hello everybody. We are live on Facebook in the Supercharge Your Sales Success group, and I hope you're all well this Wednesday. And I have lovely guests with me today to talk to you for a few minutes about the Sales Success Accelerator. And I'd like to welcome Louise Hyland. Say hello to us all, Lou.
Hi everybody, great to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. Now, Louise is a self-leadership coach and has many years of experience in corporate and brought, a wealth of knowledge to her coaching business. But obviously, as a training coach, she found herself in a position where she realized there was a lot of new skills that she needed to learn in order to make her business successful. So Louise joined me on one of the 5-day challenges that I had done. And Lou, just tell me what you thought of the challenge and how you experienced that. Like, as a new coach at this beginning point or this transitioning point of your career, just explain a little bit kind of how you were feeling and where you were at and what you needed.
Well, as you said, I was at the very first stage of my business. I had just literally left, I think, a couple of weeks before my corporate career, and thought I just needed a little bit of help with the sales end. But little did I know how much help I needed with the sales end. So yes, very naive. And even though I had just under 30 years of corporate management experience and business experience, knew very little, or a lot less than I thought I did, about how to run a business and all the elements that were involved in having to be successful. Really.
Yeah, especially doing it online as well. It's a whole different ball game, isn't it? And obviously when I started my journey, I was similar to yourself. I'd had many years in corporate, many years in sales. I'd done my time in the trenches, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do this now, and this will go the same way as I'd run 2 publishing businesses as well, magazines. So yeah, well seasoned. And then when I came into the space, I was like, what is all this? What's going on with this whole different industry? And I feel that I was fortunate because I had a background in sales and advertising and marketing, media and messaging. And, I started to think to myself, my goodness, how does anybody ever do this without any experience at all? It can be an absolute minefield. And certainly when you come from, such a background as yourself, and you come into a space like that and you think, well, I just need to get a grip of a few things. Did you feel like a newbie, really? Did you feel like you were all sort of new and out of your comfort zone, because that can be really uncomfortable, of course, by its very nature?
Yeah, I definitely did. And something that you forget, even though you have so much experience, is that you actually have, like, I had a 30-year legacy of information and skills. But when you start your own business, you tend to forget that. And you tend to forget that you have all this wealth of knowledge and that you're not actually a newbie, that you're somebody who is starting something new, but not a newbie. And that was one of the great things about the course, was that you're always reminded that you're actually not.
You're starting with experience, just moving into a new zone.
Yeah, that was so important.
Yeah. So obviously you joined the program, you worked with me, and did you find out everything that you wanted to about selling, or did it open up a whole new world as well of things you never really realized about selling and marketing, of course?
Well, I was actually in sales. I worked for a large retailer, but never about really selling myself. And that's what was hard for me. So
yes, your own brand.
And even before we got to that, Theresa, I would say that while the sales techniques that that you taught were really, really good, they came at the end of the program. And they came towards the end of the program. And what I found was really valuable, and even as a coach, I've worked with values and needs and all those things, but was applying that to the business, so that when we actually did get to the sales part of the business, you were ready to actually accept that. And it was easier for me, certainly, to learn how to sell myself, because I was clear about who I was and what it was that I was trying to offer. And I'm reluctant even to use the word sell, because it was about me offering myself and the service. So
it's about value, isn't it, really? Exactly.
Absolutely.
And it's about the value. And I think that's the thing with the layered approach, is like building a business as a coach. you do need a very layered approach. And so I could easily just do some sales training and then that would be great. But then that would be difficult to apply in some ways because you haven't done any mindset work. You don't really know the foundations of the business. You're not clear what the product suite is or what you're selling or how to sell it. So you've got these new tools of skills, but you're still like rolling around a little bit. So I like to take that layered approach. I think that's really important. And it's worked so well so far because new coaches, especially starting with experience like yourself, like they just don't really quite understand what the landscape looks like or how to navigate their way through it. I mean, certainly for the first year, I kind of did it my way. I was like, well, you know, this is what I've done before. I know how to sell. I know people. I'll do it my way. And I hadn't really clicked into everything that the online marketing world demanded. And then I started taking programs, working with coaches and figuring it all out. And so my mission really is to make this process quicker and slicker so that coaches don't spend and consultants don't spend, you know, a year or two or more kind of rolling around in it before you're getting your first clients. And so, you know, how did you sort of enjoy the style of that layered approach? Obviously, you've just said that you really enjoyed that and you wouldn't have jumped into it too soon, but is there anything else you experienced through it?
No. One of the things that I got most out of the course was about just developing my niche, because like so many others, you think that you want to serve everybody, and that just doesn't work. And I spent a lot of time with you narrowing that down and really becoming clearer about who my customer was and my ideal client, which it's a big piece of work to actually do that.
Huge. And it's always moving. That's the other thing. I think people do tend to think of it as finite. That's it. And I say to it, well, just think about it as a 2-year thing. You know, it's like your first client. And obviously the way that I teach it is that it's a version of yourself as well. So you're really digging into a lot of your own values. So you don't feel like you're just creating this weird, wonderful person that, you know, really I'm like, well, where are they and what do they do? It doesn't feel real. So it's real connective pieces and getting that client clarity, and like the niche then is kind of created from that, and it all evolves. You know, I call it that the evolution of a coach and of a business is that it unfolds. And if you don't try anything and do something and put a hat on for a while to try it for size, it's like, well, you don't get any learnings from it. And the learnings are always in the doing. So again, it's about taking the action. And you know, you've taken a lot of action since the end of the program, haven't you? What have you done, and how have you come along since then?
Just before you move on for that point, because I remember we actually tried on a couple of different hats of what I would call myself, and it just didn't feel right. It just didn't connect until finally I found the self-leadership title, and that was like, God, that's exactly what I want to do and who I want to be for my clients. So that was a big part. And you know, last week I launched my website.
You did?
Which was amazing. And definitely I know for a fact that, because I had started some work on it before I met you, Teresa, and the website that I have now is a completely different looking and feeling website than the one I would have had if I hadn't gone on the program. So I've saved myself,
well, lots of pain, lots of time, lots of money, really. Because of course we only know what we know, and you don't know what you don't know. And so when you can learn from somebody, and you know, you can be coached and mentored, you can start to really bring out who you really want to be in your business. It's not just about sales and that piece. People get so hooked up on that, but that is really important. And what did you just talk about that just for a minute? Because obviously you've been in sales, you've been in a big retail company, Marks and Spencer's, for years. So you know about retail sales, but service selling was quite different. But how did you enjoy learning the actual process of sales and that journey in the steps, the way that it was laid out? Did you find that useful to learn it in like proven process sections?
And very easy once we had done the values work, the niche piece, you actually the rest of it came easily, because you knew exactly who you were, who you wanted to serve, and what it was that you provided as a coach. So it didn't feel like a sales no. I don't even like using the words, because
no, we need a new word. I always say that.
Definitely need a new
sales,
word, because
connections.
you're offering
It's connection.
your service to people who need it and who really are going to benefit from it. So it's not it's
your
not
duty.
Sales. Yeah, it is. You're actually providing your duty to the world, and by by telling them what it is that you can do to help them live the life that they deserve to live.
And that's a mindset thing. So there's a part in there where it's about the training, absolutely. And then there's a part in there where it's about the mindset and how you're framing yourself and how you think about yourself. So we do a lot of mindset work, and we've continued to do a lot of mindset work as well to reframe any negative thinking or issues around money. Of course, money mindset is a big part of it as well, isn't it? Because when you're going to start charging for your own programs, a lot of things come creeping in. So we have to like sift all of those out and clear the decks so that your mindset is strong. And how did you find that work?
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah, I did. I did enjoy it. I've always been comfortable earning money, so I didn't have as many blocks, I suppose, in that area as some other people on the group. Definitely had a lot of work to do on that. But I think as a coach, you tend to think that because you coach people on all these things of beliefs, self-taught, mindset, that you don't need it for yourself. But, I have a firm belief now that all coaches need coaches, because you fall into the same traps and spins as everybody else. And of course, you can't see the wood from the trees. Yeah. And the mindset work I found was really, really powerful for me as a coach. Yeah. And that was a real shift change. It's
been the biggest thing for me personally. And it's something that I spend time every single day working on my mindset, because what I found is that we always want a quick win, don't we? Everyone loves to think there might be a quick fix. Tomorrow I'll wake up and it's all done. Oh, amazing. But of course it's not. And there's success is a lag effect. And when you start changing how you think, how you view things, when you start really connecting with yourself, it takes time to see yourself as a coach and to really dig and to really take that reflective inquiry with yourself to say, well, why am I doing this? How am I doing this? What am I doing? And to be able to shift that and change it. And then you need to give that time to embed in that new programming. And then you see the effects coming. So, there's a lot in the industry that talks about, you just do this one thing and everything's like magic. Well, I'm just going to stand up and say that's absolute nonsense. And, if I could just do the one thing and everything's magic, would I do it? On the high level, you might think yes, but actually no, because where are my learnings? Because then next time I want like the fix, I'm going to be like, well, who's going to tell me that? And I can't go within, and I can't learn, and I can't dig deep, and I can't find it. So self-coaching as a coach is really important as well, because there is going to be periods in your time where you might not have a one-to-one coach, you might not be on a program, you're just going to be delivering and doing, and then when you want to go to the next level, you come back and do some more. So it's important in between that we can hold ourselves, that we can coach ourselves, that we can use our own tools and develop our own self-awareness. So we also don't develop reliance on coaches all the time, although we need to have that outside perspective. I think it's really important, like everything, to keep a balance. So it was a shame when it came to an end, but it didn't come to an end because you carried on working with me, which is amazing, and just kind of like come leaps and bounds. And what would you say you got the most out of it all so far?
God, so many things. So much awareness about myself that I didn't even realize. I had certain traits. I always knew I wanted things done well, but never realized how much of a perfectionist that I was. And I think a lot of us are, especially women. We just want everything to be, completely 100% done. So I'm still working on letting go of that. But that's been a huge learning for me. But there is I'm still looking back on the resources that you have on the platform. And even last night I went back through one of Chanel's master classes on how to do a launch. Yes. So the great thing about it is that there is so much content in the in the time that we spend together, but you can go back and go back and go back. And you
there is a
won't
lot.
cover it all. There is a huge amount of content, and you won't cover it all there, but you do go back when you need it. It's there and it's laid out so well and so clearly for you to access it again. So I love that. I love having that resource there when I need it. And so for me,
it's a lifetime investment, really, isn't it? It's like I've got programs that I can go back to and go into, and at the time I might go through a module and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, that's great, but then later on I'm like, oh, I need to go back and look at that one again, or now I'm at the point in my business where I can actually apply that strategy, and so let me just review that again. So, you know, I think having a lifetime access is just, well, it's just a bit like the gift that keeps giving, isn't it? Depending on, you know,
and every time
as it adds to, you get that as well.
Yeah, you just you see a little bit more that you missed the first time you actually read it or watched a video. Every time you're still learning, even though you may have watched it before. There's some new information. But I specifically loved the client niche, the bridging the gap of what I offer and what the client's needs were, and how I was going to actually you know, apply that. I thought that was really powerful. And the whole social media and marketing side was a big learning curve for me, because like many, I didn't really do Facebook. I'm on Facebook, but I never participated. And LinkedIn, I dipped in and out. So learning how to navigate the social media platforms, that was a great learning for me. And even especially for my website, with creating a lead magnet, I didn't even know a lead magnet exists. I remember actually even asked the question, what is a lead magnet? So there's so many marketing tools that I've learned from the program, email funnels, all of which I've done by myself. I can't believe I can say that now.
You see, but, because step by step, and you get the tools to do it. And there's something I just want to mention there is that, you know, in order to sell, you have to build an audience. And this is obviously for anyone that's listening. And I didn't understand this at first. Well, I understood the concept, of course, but I didn't understand, in my days, we called it a leads list, or, you know, be on the CRM or something like that. So in the digital world, it's attraction marketing. And so in the program, there's a whole module around how to obviously do the lead magnet, how to build it out, how to create it, how to set it up. There's training for automation. There's templates to actually do your emails. Obviously, you change them to work for your own content. There's sales page layouts. There's everything that you need there to put together for free this first funnel, as I call it, the first coaching funnel that you're going to need to build an audience. And I think that's really, really important. Oh my God, I would have loved that. If I could have found that at first. I'm not joking, I spent over £600 getting someone to help me with my first lead magnet. And I'm a smart, intelligent woman, I like to think. And because I was confused about it and I was trying to get my clarity around it, and I worked with somebody, and that wasn't the best person to work with. And when I realized, oh my gosh, is that it? And like, I could have done that, and I realized I'd spent all that money, I was really disheartened. And I thought, is this what it's going to be like? Do you know what I mean? Every step of the way, I've got to spend like £500, £1,000 on finding this out, and then realize I could have done that myself. And I don't actually like that. I don't like that. You know, I think it's about integrity. And so what you can give is really important. So I like to give that stuff. I've learned it and now just have it, because what's important is that I can teach you then what I know and coach you through it all, you know, not charging thousands for that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's all in there, basically. It's all in there. It's a little business builder.
And just to add, what was really great as well is having done the program, say last week, that I not everybody might opt for this, but I found it really beneficial to do the coaching, to add on the coaching, so that I could apply the learning specifically to what I needed to do. And I found that hugely beneficial.
Yeah, so you went on VIP track, which is basically you added bolted one-to-one on top of the program. And, you know, that's really like, you know, fuel to the fire, isn't it? That's the accelerator, because then it's like, right, this is about me, this is about what I'm doing. And, you know, it's focused and it's targeted, and that's what you need to support the learning. So yeah, brilliant. And we're still doing it now, which is great. So you're really rocking and rolling and heading towards your first launch and your first program, which, to be honest, is pretty quick considering, you know, where you started from. It's all within the year, isn't it? Under that.
Yeah, it's only really been 6 months.
8 months.
Yeah,
6 months.
So 6 months. So very short. But I would say I'll be looking at that material for the next, definitely 2 years.
But you could have spent 6 months, you see, rolling around in, not sure what to do. Don't know what to, maybe I'll join that mentor group, or maybe I'll listen to all this free content. But, you took an action, and you joined up, and you've actually applied everything that you've learned. And that's really my mission, and my dog's mission.
And I've also learned a great mantra that I share with everybody now. And
yes.
I will not let tech deter me. And I use that all the time. And part of the reason, but it was because I
know what you're going to say now.
Yeah. But things aren't perfect, and they never go perfectly. And how you handle the couple of little tech issues was just brilliant. And I thought, God, I need to adopt that attitude that things will happen. And you just need to go with the flow, and everything is still okay.
I loved that when it's like a couple of little tech issues. So what happened was, like, every time I went live, I was getting booted off the Facebook platform. So I was in the middle of my launch, I was in the middle of my trainings, and all of a sudden I was gone. And it didn't happen just once. It happened like 2 or 3 times during the days. And Louise was one of the ladies that was just like there waiting for me to come back. One of a few who was like, don't worry about it. And of course, behind the scenes, that's really stressful when you're in the middle of your flow. But again, you cannot be deterred, because it's all about service. And my intention was to show up and do the best that I could in that space. And I loved it when you said, you asked me, can you do a program, didn't you say, in a course about how to be resilient? And, when it all goes wrong behind the scenes. So maybe I should do that next. But so thanks, Louise. It's lovely of you to share your time with us. And I hope that that's given anyone who's watching and listening an insight into how you can build out your business, and what the program offers, and what the benefits are really, and just clarified a few points around that, because they're probably feeling the same as you were, past tense, which is great. So thank you for sharing. That's great.
You're so welcome, and the best of luck, everybody. Anybody who is thinking about signing up, I'm so excited for you guys, because you're going to have a journey of a lifetime. So enjoy.
Oh, exciting, amazing. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you very soon. Take care for now, Lou. Bye-bye. Bye.